Welcome back to another episode of NFT Catcher Podcast. We'd like to remind everybody that nothing on the show is meant as financial advice, and to please do your own research. Thank you, and enjoy the show.
Now the subject is NFTs.
They're known as non-fungible tokens, or NFTs.
NFTs are exploding in popularity.
This is a technology that will forever change the way people interact.
So it is happening whether you understand it and like it or not.
This phenomenon is moving. The digital.
You have now joined Jenny from the blockchain and Michael Keene on the NFT Catcher Podcast.
What's up, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the NFT Catcher Podcast with me, Jenny from the blockchain, and my co-host, Michael Keene. For today's interview, we have Peter Lobanov, who is the CCO, Chief Creative Officer of Pudgy Penguins, and you also might know him on Twitter. Yes, they still call it Twitter, as Chef Goyardi. So, Peter, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me on. Ironically, today is the day when they officially changed all domains and the official app logo to X from Twitter. So it's no longer Twitter.
It's been a year?
Yeah, it's officially X today. Yeah, go look at the app. Type it in.
Wait, today it's officially, or a year ago today was?
Yeah, it's officially today. Like, officially switched it over from Twitter to X.
No, I'm fighting it.
I've been saying X for a long time. I'm cool with saying X, but it's still a tweet. When you send something out, it's still you tweet it, right?
Yeah, I still say Twitter. I don't know.
Yeah, I try and say X. When I talk to ChatGPT, I say X, and it gets it. So,
Okay, well, first of all, welcome. We're excited to have you on. We actually so this is going to be episode number 223. And Luca, we had on episode number 159, which was, let's see if I wrote it down. I think it was like over a year ago we had him on. So yeah. And I remember he had said, he's like, you're going to want to have us back on in, 6 months to a year. So, we're excited to get into it. So much has happened. I re-listened to the episode and I'm like, oh my God, like, it's crazy the amount you guys have accomplished, and so fast too. Like, it's really impressive for an NFT project to just be guns blazing, going full force, and really making waves. So yeah, shout out to you guys for that. And congrats on over 1 million toys sold in the last 12 months as well. That's insane.
Thank you.
Okay, let's see. I got a bunch of questions here. Michael, do you want to ask something first?
Sure. No, it's a pleasure having you on. I mean, first of all, it's hard to say enough good things about what Pudgy's done. The parties they throw, the keeping their holders happy, the floor price, which, I said this to Luca when he was on. You guys were at about 5 ETH, but you went from 1 to 5 when everybody else went from whatever down 90%. Like, it was very, very impressive to battle through that. And then, to crank up like it did through Art Basel and to still hold and flip the apes and the whole thing. Like, it's really, really impressive, but great to have you on. The Pudgy team, how many people are on the team these days?
So the core team consists of about 5 to 6. Now this is PP, Vedant, Lorenzo, Luca, Austin. Yep.
That's who's on the website, right? If you go to your team, you guys have that pretty clear. Everybody's Twitter. I was looking at that today.
We're pretty much the core team. That's just kind of and then we have approximately 40 people, 30 or 40 people. In my creative department, I have pretty much half the team, if not 3/4 of the entire workforce. Everybody else is logistics, marketing. Marketing is a huge arm, and then it's logistics and a few other, and tech.
Wow, that's really cool. Do you have a home office in Miami, or is everybody it's a lot of spread out like most companies?
Yeah. Everybody moved down to Miami.
Wow.
Not everybody, but I'd say 85% of our team.
What's a day in the life I'm sorry, Jen, but what's a day in the life at kind of the Pudgy office like?
Yeah, we start off, I get into the office about 8 in the morning, drink my coffee espresso, or just go straight to a cold brew, just get the biggest jolt.
Oh God, not cold brew.
Yeah, drink my AG1, get my little minerals and stuff, and then I just to lock in and check my emails and pretty much kind of go through the agenda. Usually be filled between calls, a lot of creative conversations, usually a lot of design sessions as well. The team gets in at about 10 a.m. Everybody's, it's super, very chill environment. Nobody really clocks in anybody. It's like walk in. It's very much built off of a trust system, right? So we measure people's contribution via the work they do, not the amount of hours. And so,
love that. Yeah.
Everybody's typically in around 10. Luca and Lorenzo and Vidant typically pull in at about 12 o'clock in the afternoon.
1, 2, whatever. Yeah, no, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, they
Night
pull.
owls.
Yeah, they.
So you're the early bird. Is that what I'm hearing now? Is this just for the podcast? I'm in at 6 a.m. every day. No one else is there, so they can't.
Hey, he said 8 a.m.
No, I'm only kidding.
Everybody knows that they can't outwork me. I'm the hardest working person on the team. This is humbling.
Yeah. I love that. Nice. All right.
That's funny. Yeah, I remember last time Lucas said there was like 25 full-time people. And then he's like, yeah, we might let go of a couple just to like give a little sense of urgency. And now you guys have almost 40. That's crazy.
Yeah. It's been an awesome journey, and the office is pretty much, busy between taking calls and, I would pretty much run upstairs and downstairs. I'd go down to the animation department, kind of, talk to them about some of the things that we're producing for our skits, go through some of the posing, go through some of the, find areas to like punch up in some of the skits. Then I'll literally run back upstairs, get in a meeting with Luca and Lorenzo and the rest of the gang. We'll, talk through some of the stuff that we're currently kind of working on, or some of the futures. And then literally I'll jump back into a design session, and then, I'm on call. So it's like really like you're just kind of moving all over the place. And we have a pretty decent sized space, a very open working environment too. So everybody just very much like floats around. Everything's wide open. So it's really nice. And we find that we get the most work done when we're all together. And so, though we're a very remote friendly company, a lot of the new hires that we're making and some of the adjustments that we're making on a team, it's now mandated to be in house, because we just get that much more work done. And just like statistically, like how much we've been able to accomplish being all under one roof together. Now, it doesn't mean like you have to be in the office every single day, Monday through Friday, the whole 9-hour spiel. At least we can see and talk to each other 3 days out of the week together, and just just grind through some of our agenda. We find that we're way more productive.
Yeah, the energy of like being with other people, like I miss that with working remote. Just being able to like interact with other people, like that, it's not online. There's just something about it. But yeah, folks, if you want to work at Pudgy's, move to Miami. That's what I got out of that.
We're always hiring. So if you're an artist or an animator, storyboard artist, cartoonist, skit writer, hit the careers tab page on Pudgy Penguins. And, if you're looking to move down to sunny Florida, we're hiring.
Hey, Michael, you could apply. You're out there.
I could check out the art. Can you look in the chat here? I made some art of your PFP. Do you see it? Or do I have to repost? Do I have to repost them?
Michael's an AI artist. Oh, yes. You probably have to repost it, yeah.
You have a cool little PFP, so I ran it through. See if you like these. Let's see. They pop in.
Oh, this is sick. Yeah, I love that. Egg off the head. Let's go.
Nice.
Okay, so how did your Web3 journey start? Like, how did you get into NFTs?
Yeah, I got into NFTs because, ironically, Luca got me into NFTs. I was in Austin, Texas with Luca and some of the other guys, and this is while we were building Gel Blaster. And so we were together at Austin, Texas with the Gel Blaster core team, undergoing a really interesting deal as well. And, we were at this investor party, somebody affiliated with Gel Blaster, and Luca and a couple other guys were like having their laptops open. We're all outside having fun. I see these guys like literally just locked into their laptops, just like looking at like JPEG photos of like animals and creatures and beings and things like that. And I'm like, what are you guys doing? They're like, oh, we're just buying like NFTs. I'm like, what do you, like, quite literally like the most confusing thing I've ever seen. Like, it just made no sense to me as a creator myself. Like, I didn't really understand why they were spending a couple $100s on JPEGs. Like, what was the logic here? Like, and then they started talking about rarity scales. And this is when like you really went ahead and like kind of crunched the numbers and figure out like which penguins are the rarest. And it was also like the likeness of it. And and this is before kind of diving into community. It was just more so like, look and feel, right? The vibe you get. And the very first project that Luca laid my eyes on was Pudgy Penguins. And so I was asking him, like, why would you buy these penguins? He's like, there's something about them. I don't know. So this guy's been obsessed about Pudgy Penguins since I can remember. That's the very first project that I've ever witnessed and kind of questioned, like, the why factor. So that was kind of like my onboarding journey into Web3. I still walked away out of that place not knowing, but at the same time, that night, Mutant Apes were minting. And so they were aggressively trying to mint the mutant apes as well. So it's a really interesting time. Still didn't get it at all. It took me a couple of months to really understand the power of Web3 and kind of sink my teeth into it.
What was your unlock? Do you remember what your unlock was that made you understand the power and you'd be like, oh yeah?
Not until we acquired Pudgy Penguins, and not until we sold out of Amazon is when I really like understood the power
of that.
Yeah. My background's in consumer product goods, very much like building traditional businesses, very, just kind of building that experience and that rapport, understanding like how to acquire customers, understanding how to, design products around customer needs. And so when we had launched on Amazon, just seeing the power of a motivated community being pointed in one direction and making the waves that it did was a really interesting observation and a really impactful realization moment for myself.
That's really cool. I really also like that you worked with Luke in the past and he kind of brought his crew over that he knew could accomplish things. That makes a lot of sense. Is that typical of the team or just kind of you and him, or maybe is anybody else kind of from that world with him?
Yeah. So, I've been, I grew up together. So we were like 12.
Yep.
We grew up in LA and, we were always hanging around the same people. We weren't like all the way besties, but we just always like were with the same people. We were, very much well acquainted. Then we started getting a little bit more closer. And, a few years later, we actually started doing some business together. His first like serious entrepreneurship journey was, working with Supreme Patty. So because of my background, I was doing a lot of some of the web stuff that he needed, really kind of help spruce it up and really help kind of drive the conversions there. And that was like my kind of journey into e-commerce, into branding, into creative. Previously, I was more so in the fashion space and had my own studio in Los Angeles when I was 17 years old. I had my own factory, like a high-end atelier, basically, when I was manufacturing for brands like Opening Ceremony. I got to work with people like Kanye on No More Parties in LA merchandise. I did a little bit of prints for Antisocial Social Club. So I had that was kind of like my industry before I got into e-commerce. So, and then Luca also brought on, Lorenzo. Lorenzo was somebody he's worked with on another NFT project previously. They kind of were more on a consulting basis, kind of helping out others. Because Luca's background is in marketing and Lorenzo is very much tech. So Lorenzo was doing a lot of smart contract stuff. He had his own kind of agency called Cowboy Labs, and they were basically doing a lot of smart contract work for Web3 brands and NFT projects at that time. And Luca was more so kind of entrenched in the marketing side of things. And so they got acquainted.
I remember when that whole scandal hit. When that whole scandal hit.
But again, this is like it that was like the most craziest thing, which I didn't really understand why it was like such a big deal. And again, people would pick at anything, especially as you start, start becoming a little bit, you start kind of evolving, and there's a lot of success there, and people start kind of preying on your downfall, as they say it. And so
to talk about that for 1 second, I want to just to not gloss over that. I actually agree with you 100%. I watched when that went down, and that information was actually out before and had been talked about. And when it dropped, someone tried to make it a scandal. Luca went on Spaces for a few hours and explained every detail. And then it went away. Like, that's how you handle something. You'd be honest about it. That's what I felt like he was honest about,
but
what
it's
went
like,
down.
Yeah, I mean, not to open up that, that chest, but, from my point of view and this is not going into anybody's defense, but like, I just can't see a world where anything like that you can create a scandal out of. It's clear. It's just purely based on this niche of NFTs. And it's like, if you were doing any NFT besides what you were doing today, it's like, it's a sin. And it's like, dude, this person is doing business, right? And the person is entering this industry. It's like you can't just, come into this and expect to be in this position. Like there has to be like a learning curve. There has to be, experience. And regardless of whatever the sentiment was with being affiliated with another company as an agency provider or a service provider at that time, it's like, why do you fall on the sword? Right. So I just didn't see it. I'm an agency provider myself. I worked with Celsius before they got shut down. Then you should have just come after my agency and been like, dude, you were a part of the Celsius.
I'm tweeting this right now. Peter was on the Celsius team.
Not the Celsius team. I was the
cancel Pudgy. Yeah.
So
okay, now I know who to talk to about all my Celsius money. Actually,
where were you when Pump.Fun was exploited?
Oh man.
Yeah. Okay.
Can't say.
Oh my God. Okay, folks, we might have a breaking story here.
So just not to open that chest up, but again, I just don't see it, and people will just pick at anything, and I'm glad it's a thing of the past. And honestly, it was the most traumatizing experience he's ever went through, because it was a lot of public bashing. We're very early on, and so for literally 3 days, they literally felt like the worst. Like I saw the environment kind of change, the tone shifted amongst Luca and our core team, and it was very much like damn, like I was just didn't understand it like that, and it was just like some of the worst things he's ever endured is what he said. Like literally to go through that, I can't imagine like people at a bigger scale kind of enduring some of the scandal, and especially if it's not true, and just going up there and defending yourself. So I kudos to him, props to him for being able to kind of hold it down and then just nip it in the butt as not prolong.
Yeah, no doubt. I agree with you 100%. I actually didn't even necessarily mean to get into this topic, but you just were talking about those old projects, and with Red Zone, I was like, I remember those being talked about. That's the only reason I brought it up. But I agree with you 100%. I really do. And I did at the time, and I thought he handled it tremendously, but we can keep it for sure. I appreciate the insight there, though. That's very interesting.
Yeah. So yeah, that's kind of how we all met, just kind of being in the space, being adjacent to the space, and just having some connections outside. And eventually, Luca assembled the team, and here we are today.
When you guys first bought Pudgy's, was the vision to kind of be a digital and physical toy company? I
think we didn't exactly know where this was going to be and where this was going to go. Partially, a lot of the decisions that we made were very much influenced by the community that we had inherited with the acquisition, and being able to listen closely to the community's wants and needs. Everybody had a very similar theme that was going around, which was like, when are we going to do any physical kind of goods? Are you ever going to do toys? Like, it's kind of like the natural progression of a brand of this caliber to produce some sort of physical goods, and so that was kind of the first seed planted in terms of where we should go. It's like, all right, well, we have consumer backgrounds. Let's just get into the consumer business. Let's take something from digital and bring it to physical. It would be really cool to eventually tie the digital aspect to the physical in some sort of way, which is, today it's Pudgy World, and, the redemption journey of all the traits that come with a toy. And so that was kind of like I said, the natural progression of the brand, and where we eventually evolved to kind of honing in on. We knew we needed some sort of North Star to focus on. A lot of the NFT projects in the space said the most outlandish, the most craziest promised roadmaps. We're going to make a movie and game, and all these things that we're going to produce are going to have hundreds of millions of users to it. It's like, I'm not knocking that. Like, by all means, do that. Like, dream big, right? But like, let's bring it down to reality. And it's like, well, do you know how hard these things are to do? Like, do you know what kind of resources are required to like find any like inclination of success? And
nobody cared at that point. Because you could make those claims, and then you could raise $3, $4, $5 million.
It was like overpromise, underdeliver. That was the motto.
Yeah, it was like, it was just build a website that looked decent enough and get somebody that could talk on Spaces and sell it.
Exactly. That was, I think we kind of reversed that model where it was under promise and over deliver, and stick by promises. And so one of those promises was to just make Pudgy Penguins the most known penguin brand in the world. And that starts with distribution. It starts with product and experiences. And so we kind of dialed into a great partner to kind of help us with the manufacturing and the distribution plans. And with the power of the community, we were able to show a lot of success. Like I said, Amazon was one of the first things that we find a lot of success in, and essentially leverage to get a relationship with Walmart. And so we're pretty much here today.
The Walmart, when that news dropped, that was a turning point for sure. That was like a whole nother level. Everything, I feel like from the outside, like everything kind of changed.
Everyone was like buying them and like giving them to kids and making videos about it.
Yeah.
It was it was a big deal for the space, 100%, because we're very ambitious
for everybody. Yeah.
But it was a big deal also in the more traditional aspect of like building character brands and going into retail, because a lot of the brands that are in those stores, and they were at least around 2, 3, 4, 5 years before they even got into these type of big retail chains. We were a brand that was less than 6 months old, that was able to pull something off like this. So again, bringing it back to community. This wouldn't have happened without motivated participants in this ecosystem to actually make it happen. It was the idea that resonated with everybody that we had. We walked into those rooms, or Luca walked into those rooms, and the calls we've had with people with full conviction, because we knew that we had the audience to help us with this. We knew we had the support that we needed. So all we had to do was just go execute and show that same level of confidence that our community was showing us to the appropriate channels to make this stuff happen.
Love that.
I love it, man. Yeah.
And I love Pudgy World because it reminds me of like when I was a kid, Webkins. I don't know if you were ever into Webkins, but that was my shit right there, Webkins. I loved it. And I feel like Pudgy World is going to be kids today. Like that's going to be their thing. And it's so cool how you guys are, oh, you know what? I have the exact quote here. How toy buyers go from regular consumers to on-chain digital collectors in just 60 seconds. Like, that's so crazy. I mean, Webkins, that was not on-chain, obviously, and that was forever ago. But like this, people, like kids are going to have their first NFTs and they're going to be Pudgies, which is so cool and so exciting. And you guys are just doing such big things for not just Pudgies, but like the NFT space as a whole, because it's like when we're winning, when everybody's finding out about NFTs through Pudgy World, like that's a big win for the space. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's something that, we're just firm believers that this is just just the very start of, the future of Web3, and at least just being those people to not just talk about it, to not just dream about it, but to actually go ahead and try to execute something. Majority of the times we look like crazy people talk about NFTs and this whole like crazy, complex mechanism that has like somewhat of a negative connotation around it, or doesn't have as strong of a, but we'll be the crazy people and we'll champion this as loud as we can, so long as we have the power of the community behind us. We'll be as loud as we can. We'll go out there and try to fall on the sword before everybody else, just to at least try to trailblaze the space and, like I said, move with conviction and try to prove that there is something amazing here, which again, like in the traditional world of like Web2 brands, like the most successful brands, you look at Gymshark, for instance, right? One of the reasons why Gymshark was so successful is because of the power of the community, right? Like people felt like they were a part of this club. And so you want to if you look at it through the Web3 lens, right? Like Web3 and just like the Web3 mindset kind of fosters that mentality. And it's kind of the second nature expectation for Web3 to have these subsidized communities that if you nurture them for long enough, they can flourish into something much more larger and greater. And so I like to think that our Pudgy Penguins community is probably one of the best communities in the space. I'm saying that as humbly as I can, just because I love every single one of the members in our community and some of the new people
every
that are
single one.
I mean, as much as
I'm only joking. I am sure you.
I'm trying to see as many as I can of them at our events. Just try to people. Because
were you at the Miami Art Basel party? Not to cut you off.
That Miami Art Basel was a stone throw away from our studio, our office.
Oh, no kidding. Yeah, that party. Yeah. I was gonna say that venue, that party. That was the best party of Art Basel. Seriously, like everybody was out because that was in the middle of like the meteoric rise and the Pudgy World. Like people were the big penguin walking around. Like I was taking pictures and I look back at them and like the smiles on everybody's faces. Honestly, you don't see that very often. That party was a vibe. I got the IYK shirt. I got the free ZK Sync shirt. I got all kinds of good stuff. No, incredible. That was a great party.
Thank
Great
you.
party. With
Yeah,
the
with
food,
the-
I mean, every detail, honestly.
I'm glad you like it. It's we strive to create these types of experiences
Yeah.
as a token of our gratitude to our community. And if you can come down to Miami, you can justify the ticket, justify the stay for just that one night, and hopefully the community throws little events around. But if you can justify coming down for one night, like, all food experiences, like I literally stress about that. Like I handpick all the vendors to come and, kind of design the menu and just really try to go all out. And, when we get appreciation like this, like it really just kind of.
No, you hit from everywhere. I mean, the food, it was was there like a cheesesteak with like kimchi on it? I don't even remember. There was some fancy steak dish and there was like it was ice cream. Yeah, bulgogi sandwich. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly right. Cheesesteak. Sorry, I'm from Philly. So
you're good. Same thing, basically.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, it's
teriyaki sauce and you're good to go.
Exactly. It's teriyaki sauce and sesame seeds. Called it a day. Yep. Exactly. I love that. Great part. I can't say enough good things about that. Can't wait for next one. Are you going to be down at Consensus?
Possibly, but
possibly. Okay.
This year is I'm trying to like go to as little events as possible. Just so much work, and we'll let Luca have all the fun. But Art Basel, because it's our home, it's going to be one of those annual events that we'll always throw, and we really want to just take over Art Basel as much as we can.
Sick.
Known events to go to in Art Basel in general. So this year is going to be epic.
Nice. I got paid to go to that party. I bought a little Pudgy to claim the ticket, and then like the price went way up and sold it after the party. Not that I didn't want to have it, but
how dare you?
I know. Nobody wants to hear that, but
traitor.
I thought that was really funny. I made like $1,000 to go to that party.
Wow, way to flex on
where
us,
we wrap
Michael.
up the podcast.
I'm just kidding. What's that? Say that again. I missed
we
it.
wrap up the podcast, man.
Oh no, because I'm not alone. I'll buy one. I'll buy one right
Peter's
now.
about to leave right now.
Do you want me to go to Blur right now and snag one if it'll keep you on?
Do it.
Let me see. I don't know what the. Let me see if.
Do it. Buy one live. Buy one live.
I wouldn't mind. Let's see.
Okay, while Michael's looking at
that.
that.
Go ahead. Let's see.
I saw you tweet about keychains. Are keychains coming next?
Yes. So the last 6 months, we've been really focusing on developing just a really wide range of accessories, home goods, apparel. I mean,
home
we've
goods.
been dialing in our merchandise, yeah. And I've been teasing it on X a few times now, and in the next couple of months, we should start seeing some of the first products get launched. So very, very excited about that. A lot of heart and soul and time went into that, and so it's going to be one of many. So I'm excited.
Okay. What else can you say? Like, what else is there?
Yeah.
What are home goods?
Yeah. So
like rugs or something?
Yeah. Well, I showed a rug on X as well. That it was like kind of like a multifunctional rug where you can lift the flap and it shows this exoskeleton of the penguin under the rug. So that was pretty cool. So we've got I won't leak it too much, but we've been dialing it in a lot, and so
I see the fingernails. Jenny, you should check out the fingernails.
The fingernails, like fake nails.
It's on Peter's fake nails. But
I never
like
wear
with Pudgy stuff.
I have like guy nails. I just clip them really short.
Those are my nails, real long.
Yeah.
Oh, I need to look at this. Okay, so that's kind of the next big thing is just a more broad Pudgy's IRL line.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Let me actually ask you about a piece of merch. So I know you guys do the vinyls that go into the box stores and stuff, but isn't there also a line of vinyls that are kind of more like, what is the website, Factory or something like that? Is that the website? I'm trying to remember. Don't you guys sell like high-end vinyls that are like more collectible, or am I mistaken?
Yeah.
My buddy Rick. Yeah. Okay, go ahead. I think you know.
So we sell also like this little guy right here. This is the Nouns figurine.
Right.
Dropped this in December with Nouns. Shout out to some of the best community out there as well. This is 1 out of 500 here. So this was one of those collectibles. We also have blind boxes that are coming out later this year. Those are currently in development right now. So we have a figurine line as well. We are dialing in our plushies, so we're going to be launching a lot more plushies as well, not just the retail exclusive side, but more D2C going forward.
What's the best way just to pay attention, I guess, to the feed, turn notifications on if you want to catch one of those 1 of 500s. I'd love to be at least in the, I mean, probably, I guess, do you have to be an owner of the OG? Is that first in line?
No,
not typically. Okay.
No. I mean, we do have a very fair allocation to all of our holders that we reserve. That is always available for them to buy. But yeah, it's open for anybody. We usually partner up with Network to
Network. That's the one. I said something. Yeah. Network is the one. I think NWRK or whatever. Isn't it something like that? Yeah. That's a cool site. I've been checking them out.
Yeah, so we've been dropping them. We went on a little hiatus just to kind of recalibrate our product line and kind of dial in a little bit more. There's always room for growth and to improve on that side. So towards the second half of this year, we'll be kind of jumping back on that cadence.
Cool. I'm excited. I'm gonna try and keep my eye for that and get some of those. My buddy Riggs has like a nice collection of real nice Pudgy stuff. I need to
love Riggs.
Good dude. Yeah, for sure.
You need to up your game.
I know. Well, I saw, like, where'd you get those ones? Like, because Luca was extremely generous and sent all three of us a couple boxes full of stuff.
Oh, yeah,
and they were awesome. And then I looked at Rick's collection. I was like, damn.
Nice.
So we got to keep it going. But my kids have stolen just about all of mine. I have a first grader who has one of those little clip-on Pudgies on her backpack. Like, they love them. They love them.
Those are a hit. It's the best-selling product.
Really? Yeah, no kidding. The clip-ons?
The clip-ons are actually the second best-selling. The first best-selling are the blind figurines. The
little boxes, for $5 below. Yeah. That's awesome. I love that. No, those things are so popular. You see them everywhere.
Yeah, they've been really exciting. Just mainly because you don't really know which one you're going to crack open, so it's part of the chase. You find one, you're not only surprised with the toy that's inside of it, but you're also unpacking a trait that if you get a unique code, you hit the right type of trait. For those who have unboxed the traits, about Q3 this year, we're going to be unveiling the official alpha, so an open world MMO experience. You'll be able to play with your penguin that you've customized. You'll be able to play mini games and kind of go on all these different quest adventures. So it's been something really exciting that we've been really kind of hyper focusing on. We brought some of the best people in the space from AAA gaming. This is going to be a browser based experience. So kind of how you touched on the Webkins side of things, this is going to be very much home to a browser experience. So really hoping that we get to launch that by Q3, and Q4 will be kind of entering our beta stage. And next year, that's pretty much going to be the full on conversation is just Pudgy World all the way.
Damn, that's crazy. That's going to be huge.
It's pretty awesome, man. It's very impressive. Like, I was super impressed when we talked to Luca. I'm very impressed with everything you say. Like, you guys are pretty awesome. It's hard to say anything bad about the Pudgy Penguins in the
Wait,
Web3
are you
space.
like Luca because he was like, I don't really like compliments. Like, don't hype me up. So we had to like refrain from like saying like congrats and all this stuff because he was like, I don't want to hear
I
think
Peter likes compliments. I think Peter likes compliments.
Yeah, I don't know. We I grew up in a very specific grew up in a specific kind of household, and we're just not accustomed to compliments and stuff. So it's it's something just we're not. It kind of makes us a little bit standoffish. Like we should be accepting,
right.
embracing it, but you kind of get desensitized to it, and you don't really realize the impact that you make. And there's moments where you kind of see that realization where like. You can kind of see how excited people get and how passionate they get about the things that you're doing. And I think that's the biggest compliment versus receiving something, which we'll always receive it gracefully, but seeing it and having that self-realization is where we're really like, wow, like we did something, right? We didn't accomplish all of our goals. We did something.
Oh yeah. Okay. My question that I was like, it slipped my mind for a second, but this is what I've been wanting to ask you. Are Pudgies going to explore any other blockchains? Like, are you guys going to be on, I don't know, Ordinals, Flow, Solana? Like, there's so many others, and there's a lot of projects that are kind of branching out. And I'm just curious if that's been like a topic of discussion internally.
It certainly has. We did float the idea of being cross-chain, and really kind of toyed with the concept. I think the tech team is kind of exploring that and making sure that not only the community but everybody's pretty much aligned that this is the common sentiment. This is the common theme that we should be moving into. And when the time is right and the opportunity is there, we'll definitely lean into something like that. But it's for sure a conversation that we've had many, many times.
I think that's going to end up being necessary. I mean, you obviously can't have everything on ETH1 if you're going to try and do high volume of stuff, if there's game assets. Remind me, what blockchain are all the traits from the toys on? Is that,
if I'm not mistaken,
that's what I thought. I did think they were on Polygon. Yeah. I mean, what I always say, what I've been saying for the last 6 months, like, it depends on the product of what chain you use. There's so many ETH2s popping up. Like, I wouldn't hold yourselves back if you see a use case on a chain that's doing stuff for gaming, ZK Sync or whatever it is. Like, at this point, I don't think people are really even going to care in the next couple of years. It's all going to be interoperable. That's where a lot of these companies are going. Yeah. I think you pick the chain for your product, each different product.
Yes. Yeah. Interoperability it's the inevitable path. I think the question is when does occur, we will be right there.
Nice. That's what's up. I had a question there too. Okay. So I actually did ask Luca about this, when he was on the first time, and he sounded like he was really into it and had some ideas. And there was actually one project that he was thinking about, but said he didn't want to say because it was small and he didn't want to mess
I know
with the
what
price.
you're gonna ask.
Yeah. Do you guys talk about, and I know you would never get specific, but acquiring other IP in the space, other projects, has that come up? Like, when any of them have been for sale, have you guys even been in negotiations, whatever it was, Moonbird, Little Lemon Friends, Lazy Lions, all that stuff? Or is there any
Michael
what would you
saying,
say about
please
that?
buy my bags.
No, let us know first is what I'm saying. Let us know the project
So
before.
he can buy the rumors, sell the news.
Right. We would like to be part of the pre-news pump this time.
That's I'm glad you're asking all the great questions on this podcast. We've definitely toyed around with some of the ideas. But I don't think it would have resonated with our current community really well. It would have felt like we would have been abandoning Pudgy Penguins if we were in the mindset of acquiring other IPs. And not to say that the business model doesn't have merit and it doesn't sound attractive. Like, we were definitely in a position and we had a lot of opportunities, a few opportunities for sure, with some of the very known, still active projects in the space. But I think inevitably, like, we just wanted to dial into Pudgy Penguins and make Pudgy Penguins, the core focus. And don't forget, with the acquisition of Pudgy Penguins, we inherited Little Pudgies. And so Little Pudgies has been the second project that we have been kind of building up and restructuring from within, defining a content strategy, defining a product strategy. We don't want it to be a copy paste of Pudgy Penguins' current infrastructure, though we have a lot of the frameworks in place and we know how to approach it this time. I think Little Pudgies is reserved for a very magical moment. And I think with that one, we're going to start with story first instead of going product first. Pudgy Penguins, we were very much kind of focused being product first. Little Pudgies, we want to dial into being a story, lore-driven kind of sub-brand of Pudgy Penguins. It's Little Pudgies by Pudgy Penguins, right? If you think of it, kind of like the Minions by Despicable Me, right? So that kind of like that same logic. But we had to give the Pudgy Penguins universe a bigger a platform. And so for us, it's just a matter of garnering a much more wider audience and just building up Pudgy Penguins, making the brand name as big as it possibly can be. And once we feel like Pudgy Penguins has a strong enough audience to then kind of leverage as a launch pad for new IPs, I think the mindset is definitely going to shift to, all right, now's a good time to use Pudgy Penguins platform to jumpstart Little Pudgies in the right direction. And then as we expand the Pudgy Penguins universe, right, when you're thinking Pudgy Penguins, the first thing that's going to come to mind is obviously penguins, right? But we have all the upside to eventually branch out into introducing new characters into the ecosystem, but all that has to kind of stem from story and some sort of narrative. And so that's kind of been the core focus for myself is I need to focus on developing a story that can resonate with hundreds of millions of people. Something like that doesn't get developed in a couple of minutes. This is a very strategic process that kind of undergoes a lot of input and, has a lot of hands involved in it. And so the focus now is to find a way to tell that story, right? So now we're kind of at that point where we've kind of defined it. Now, how do we tell it? Putting a voice behind the Penguins, I don't know if that's the right move quite yet. And maybe we should consider doing books, right? Or we should consider doing games. And so reality, Pudgy World has been in front of us the whole time. So the best way to tell the story is through Pudgy World. And so that's kind of like our main focus. And until we tell that story, doing anything but Pudgy Penguins would do a disservice.
I think that's smart, nice measured approach to that, because a lot of people, would bring in those other assets and all whatever it is, but good stuff. I like your reasoning there and all that.
Yeah, well, I mean, we don't want to bite off more than we can chew.
Yeah, a lot of people did, a lot of dilution, a lot of stuff like that. No, for sure.
Trust me, we had a lot of opportunity to be headlining these types of announcements, but I don't know, man. It's just, why kill something that's just working so well? Why not just lean into it and just make it bigger than it already is? So now it's just a matter of being consistent. Like, excuse my language, but let's not fuck it up. That's really what it is.
Hell yeah.
Don't fuck it up. What happened to that guy that was like, I am my penguin and my penguin is me? I don't know why I just thought of him. Moose? Oh, is that who was it said that?
Yeah. Well, I know Moose. Moose is the most, he was the most vocal person in our community, still is. Yep.
Shout out Joey also. Moose.
Yeah, Joey Moose, mate.
Okay, well, Michael, do you have any more questions? Because otherwise we can head into Gas Wars.
Yeah, let's have one final quick one. I saw you guys announced, I don't even know how to pronounce it, LOTTE Group. Lotte. What's the TLDR on that collab? That partnership?
Yeah, they're pretty much a very massive Korean company that has a lot of subsidized brands in the food and the entertainment product space. They're pretty much a really big deal. Luca may have kind of alluded to our plans in expanding to Asia. And so, baby steps here, but Lotte is a pretty serious partner to be partnering up with. We've been discussing a lot of products now. We have something, already kind of in the works now. But this is one of those like long-term relationships. It's going to start very slow, very small, very curated, and eventually branch out into more, all to feed into our North Star, which again is to make our penguin the most famous penguin brand in the world.
Let's go.
All right. You have the answer to everything. I love it. Good stuff.
Yeah, you're a smooth talker. You're a smooth talker. And you're so young too. I feel like all you guys at Pudgy Penguins are like really young, but you also said you started like kind of in the like entrepreneur space at like 17, which is crazy.
Yes. Started at 17. The real entrepreneurship journey started when I was 14 because it kind of had to navigate the financial crisis that I was kind of undergoing with our family, and how to step up and just be an adult very early on. So I didn't really get to graduate college. High school for one. Never got to go to college. I had to drop out at 6 months in the ninth grade because how can you go to school when you have to think about how to keep the lights on or how to avoid getting that eviction notice. And when the eviction notices came in, like, how do you wake up and go to school with a good mood knowing that you're sleeping in a U-Haul truck on the way back from school? So it's not the most ideal environment to grow up in. It's kind of like one of my biggest motivations is to just put myself in a position of strength when I have a family, and when I settle down, I don't want my children kind of undergoing this. And so this is why we're also looking at Pudgy Penguins as being that like vessel to create legacy status, right, and kind of achieve something. And a lot of my aspirations are now channeled through Pudgy Penguin success. Luca can say the exact same. We grew up in very similar household situations, single mothers, raising two boys, and it was not it wasn't fun, but what was fun was being out in the streets. I was street smart a lot more than book smart. But, I ended up testing out of school because I just didn't want to assume that I was an idiot. So I had to go to, these like after school sessions, and I had to test out. It was this whole, very annoying kind of journey, but I just had to prove it to myself that I wasn't an idiot. I assumed that I was an idiot, but I very much kind of proved myself wrong in a good way. And, just went into everything that I did with full conviction. Can say that I am very humbled and thankful for making a lot of mistakes very early on. as an entrepreneur, like you typically, when you fail at something, you think that it's the end of the world and you're kind of screwed. But if you are young, and I was 14, 15, thinking that the thing that I would fail in was the end of the world, it's like, dude, shut up. You're 14 years old, 15 years old, like you're going to figure it out. And then I experienced the same thing at 17 years old with my real business, where I had employees and I had to cover salary and I had to be a one-man army. And like, that didn't last too long, even though I had a lot of success in it. Just, it wasn't sustainable long term because I was kind of burning myself out and putting myself in bad situations, just being, again, one-man army. And so that was another mistake that felt very catastrophic and kind of reset my life. And I had to kind of figure things out again, working a lot of different jobs, just making as many mistakes as possible, where like now I'm like risk adverse in making really stupid decisions. I'm a lot more grounded, more logical now. I'm 27, but I feel, I act and I behave like I'm 30 years old, just because life has always forced me to be mature. And it's like, I never really hung around like goofy kids, and the interests to me weren't the same interests as a 15-year-old kid. I was more infatuated with older people, and, I would sit down with like an older crowd, especially successful people that I just, saw with, nice Ferraris. Growing up in LA, you see that, right? Like you're kind of close to that. So you would see this type of money, and I would sit down and, like working at a barista at a cafe, I would like literally risk getting fired to like walk up to the guy who like pulled up in his 458 Pista, Ferrari, and like ask him, like hand him his coffee and just ask him like, hey, what do you do? Like just straight up, like, what do you do? And how does somebody get there? One of the moments that I can remember, that guy that I'm talking about, like he was like, oh yeah, I'm a producer. I was like, oh, you produce films? And, back in the day I had somewhat of an acting career because I wanted to get into acting and entertainment. And he was like, yeah, I produced some films. And I was like, oh, what films? He was like, oh, this film, The Dark Knight. I was like, oh my God, like I'm talking to the guy who produced The Dark Knight, like, holy cow. And so I was just always interested. Like I always wanted to know what these other people's stories were. I was always interested to hear other journeys, and just really put myself in that position. It's like, man, when I grow up and when I become this person, I also, when a person comes up and asks me this stuff, like I don't want to give them such a one-sided answer. I want to, kind of give them the most honest truth. And, the most honest truth that I've come to realization at 27 years old, I just turned 27 2 weeks ago.
Hey, happy birthday.
Thank you. You want to make as many mistakes as possible at your early age, especially if you come from a family who's like super stable and you're growing up in a very warm, comforting household. Your family's got some sort of stability. If you're at least in a like a middle class kind of family household, if you're ambitious but you just don't know what to do, just go out there and just make the most risks that you can possibly make, like responsible risks, and in the proactive kind of entrepreneurship journey, not like drug risks or anything like that, right? We're talking about positive kind of risks where they just give you the best type of life lessons, and make as many of them as possible, because you have a fallback plan. And I can with most certainty guarantee that if anybody does this, they'll eventually arrive at realizing like where their true skills are, how they can contribute to society, how can they, maybe if they're passionate about something and they always felt like they can have a career in it, well, figure out how to, turn this passion and commercialize it as fast as possible, and see if somebody's willing to pay you for it. So at least you find joy in doing what you love. And today I love doing what I do. It doesn't feel like a job. I'm a workaholic, because by the hours that I work 16, 17 hours a day, but it's not work. It's just my life. My friends are not friends that I can just hit up and be like, let's go hang out and like smoke or like just do nonsense. Like, no, my friends are my colleagues. Every single one of my friends are people who are just as motivated. And, we bond over this one interest, which is entrepreneurship. And I think that's kind of, bringing it back to Web3. I think that's the power of Web3 too. I think Web3 allows people with specific interests, if you find a platform in which those interests can become a common theme to kind of join in on, you can find placement, and you can, find like you have a belonging, and you don't have to live in this world where the algorithm just, creates these things for you and you're sucked into this loophole. It's like, no, I want to go to like niche specific platforms that like, help me and better me. And so, that's kind of the full circle that life is kind of bringing me around. And again, why I'm like starting to fall in love with Web3 more and more.
Wow.
Dropping
Thank
wisdom.
you for
Yeah.
sharing that. Yeah, that was
Oh, yeah.
amazing. And I mean, I'm so glad I asked whatever the heck. I don't even remember what I asked, but I'm like, that was cool hearing your story. Like, you quit school, but you didn't quit learning. And that's like the whole entrepreneur mindset of like just taking risks. And especially when you're younger, you have nothing to lose. Like when you're young, that's when you should be taking the most risks because you're so young. You don't have a family, you don't have kids. Like, you can afford to take more risks. And I loved hearing your journey. So thank you for sharing that.
Yeah. Just try to live in the present, right? Not to think about the future too much. So just try to make the most out of what you're going through, like right now. Like we're having this podcast, right? Like I'm not thinking about, what I got to do first thing in the morning. Like I'm trying to make the most of it out of it right now. I'm trying to have the most natural conversation, amongst people who are, interested in the same thing, right? We all have the same interests. Two people here probably hold NFTs, and my man over here doesn't hold a Pudgy Penguins NFT. So we're going to try to shill him some NFTs, but just don't worry. Like you're going to figure it out, and I think the best time to make those mistakes, you can call them learning lessons, is at a very early age.
Mic drop.
Boom. Yeah, hell yeah! This is one of those interviews that we could just go on forever and ever. It's really, really good conversation, really interesting stuff, and. You provide a really good perspective, and I tried to get some alpha out of you, and you took it like a champ.
Media training, man.
Yeah,
that investment.
Yeah, heck yeah. Nice.
Wait, actually, like media training, like a course you took or something?
No, we just we do a lot of public speaking.
Oh.
There's the odds and the chances that when you get on the podcast or when you go do an interview that somebody asks you for an alpha are 99%. And so we at least want to be trained, in a situation where somebody asks us like, hey, are you guys ever going to do this? Are you guys going to launch that? And, instead of making like, we're obviously all thinking the same thing, but in reality, we have to be very strategic with how we, communicate our plans and our interests and our efforts. And so there's just a really good way of controlling the narrative and at least just trying to make sure that, you're not setting the wrong expectations.
I have a funny story about that from our interview with Luca for you. So he was talking about, this was before camp was announced. And he was like, we have something big coming with a huge brand this summer. Do you remember this, Jenny, this part of it?
With Luca?
Yeah, we were talking to Luca. Oh, camp was Doodle. Oh, this was Julian. I am insane.
Oh my God.
I mixed up two stories. But so I'll tell you how that went down. So he was like, if you remember, I completely mixed that up. I'm sorry. But that was with Julian. And he was like, we have something coming this summer and it's going to be really big with this huge activation. And I was like, East or West Coast? And he didn't want to say where it was. He's like, neither coast. I was like, in the summertime, well, then it has to be Chicago. He's like, why does it have to be Chicago? And I was like, well, it's too hot in Texas. And, but I just thought it was funny because I called it out and he didn't want to say where it was. But I remember him coming back like, why does it have to be Chicago?
That's so funny.
Sorry that I mixed those two up.
No, you're good.
Nice. Jenny's looking at me like, I thought Jenny was like, what are you talking about?
I know. I was like,
yeah.
Okay. So great. Thanks for spending your Friday night with us. We're not done yet though, because we have to do Gas Wars, which is our rapid fire question segment. So we're each going to ask you 5 rapid fire questions that don't have to do with NFTs to get to know you a little bit better. And I don't know, do we have a new theme song for this?
No, we didn't do a theme song for this one. So Andy's hanging with his wife and I said, you know what? Don't worry about it tonight. The first one didn't hit so great. I need to do a better job. I need to make it shorter, more succinct. I'm working on a theme song, Peter, for our Gas Wars segment here to
through AI. He's not like singing or anything.
No. I could sing though. I have sung on the podcast and I get compliments.
That's not true. You get roasted by me.
Oh my God. Yeah.
All right. So I guess I'll kick it off. What is something on your bucket list?
My bucket list is to get married with my fiance.
Oh, that's exciting. Congrats on being engaged.
Yep.
That's huge.
Who is your favorite stand-up comedian?
Andrew Schultz. So far.
He's pretty much mine too.
Pretty funny guy.
Hey. He's incredible. His podcast is great. Everything he does is incredible.
Yeah, he's popping up everywhere for me. So he's a really fun guy.
Now, Andrew Schultz, I've been watching him for a long time now. I was a ticket broker for 17 years, and comedy was one of our niche. And I found him super early in the club. Right after his first Joe Rogan appearance, he like blew up. So that's pretty funny here.
Yeah.
You mentioned Andrew.
Yeah.
He performed at VCon last year. If you remember that.
Really? Oh,
Yeah, he did.
That's right. He did.
Yep.
He did.
It was really good.
That's
Then
when
he
I
just
first
performed-
found out about him.
He just performed at MSG last weekend. He was at the Tom Brady roast, all that good stuff.
Wow.
He's
Wow.
everywhere. Yep. Cool.
All
Good
right. Who is your favorite musical artist?
I have such a broad spectrum of music. So I would probably say right now, I've been listening aggressively to Crystal Castles, and Black Coffee.
What genre is that?
It is Crystal Castles is like kind of like progressive electro house.
Okay.
Black Coffee is like very much chill, kind of house music. Very, very much on a relaxed, cool vibe. Definitely recommend. Like if you want to zone out, after just chugging a nitro cold brew in the morning and just zone in for 4 hours straight, absolutely amazing.
Do you go to like festivals?
Yeah, I love going to
Oh,
festivals.
let's go. All right. I'll see you there.
Where are you
Good
going?
times.
I actually don't have anything planned, but yeah, I went to most recently I went to Bonnaroo. I went to Imagine Camping Festival. Sometimes I forget the names. I've been to Decadence a bunch in Arizona, like every year for New Year's. I'll go to that. So
For you
yeah.
young bucks, I was at the first Bonnaroo in 01.
Oh yeah.
Wow, once again flexing on his unreal.
Yep. Always, always. What is your favorite flavor of ice cream?
I'm a vanilla guy.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Little caramel syrup, maybe?
Plain old.
Yeah.
Vanilla is just safe and conservative. I
Yeah.
think it's just like
Vanilla's good to test like the quality of an ice cream. If you're trying to
Yeah.
get something real good,
Yeah.
for sure.
like a nice Madagascar vanilla bean.
But
But like if we're talking like brands, I'd love the strawberry rhubarb from Salt and Straw. For those
Salt
of
and Straw
Salt
is
and
incredible.
Straw. Oh my
Oh,
God.
yeah. That place in Wynwood.
yeah.
Woo.
And
Yep. Oh, man.
All right.
Are we
what-
becoming best friends? Do we like all the same things? What's going on here? Go
what
ahead.
is one of your pet peeves?
one of my pet peeves is one of my pet peeves is lack of respect. I think respect is a two-way street. And if you don't respect me, I don't respect you. And if you don't respect others, and if you don't respect is such a broad thing, but it all starts and stops with respect. If you just knowing people's boundaries, respecting other people's work ethic, respecting to trust others. Respect is a huge thing, and so I always show respect to everybody. And as soon as I see any sign of disrespect, that's typically where my guard goes up, and immediately alligator brain turns on, and there's no longer a thing in my mind.
Nice. This next one's a bit impromptu, but what is your number one choice to go on your honeymoon?
I want to go to Lake Como.
Where's that?
Northern Italy?
Oh, Italy. That's cool.
Yeah.
Are you Italian?
No, I'm Russian.
Oh, okay.
Yes, that last name is very Italian, Jenny.
I mean, you kind of look
I
Italian.
know,
to
it
me.
could
I
be.
don't know.
There's all kinds of,
That's crazy. As soon as I started growing my beard out, people were just starting telling me I'm Italian. I'll take
Really?
it. That's awesome.
That's funny. Very nice.
I feel like Michael, you were about to like give him some destination recommendations because Michael's like traveled everywhere.
Well, yeah, I've been all over. I've been all over Italy for sure. I mean, it's beautiful up there. That's one of the great places in the world. There's also what is it? Cinque, the other with the 5 towns around the other lake. There's all kinds. Italy, there's a million places to go, and you'll probably fly into Milan, I guess.
Yeah,
Probably pretty easy to fly into Milan. Yep.
Who knows? I mean, the place that I'm also like even considering to without even going to is probably Japan. Like I want to go to Japan.
Yeah.
I think, as a respectful culture, I definitely want to be around those who are very much respectful of others, and something about it. It's also a birthplace for a lot of the cultural impacts that have been made to to my life and to the things that I'm doing today. Where art, right? You have the Murakami's.
Yeah, see you.
The fashion space has always kind of been inspired by Japanese culture, and so it's something that I'm definitely looking forward to going to as well.
They certainly can't go wrong with either of those. And the good thing about travel is like anybody you talk to about anywhere they go, they pretty much love it.
Yep.
So that's, awesome. Love
Can't
that.
wait.
Great answers. Yeah.
All right. What is a book that's changed your life?
The book that changed my life, I'm looking at, I don't know about changing my life, but I think just looking through a different lens. I'm a, again, this is more like entrepreneurship oriented. So I think one book that really helped me see it through a different perspective was a book called Traction. And it's like the last book that I read that I can recall. So yeah, I'm also not like I'm starting to read a lot more, but I'm not like an avid like sit for an hour a day and read.
The planes are easy to read.
Yeah, but it's like I just said, I'm not even flying this year around, so it looks like I'm not until next year.
Well, maybe on your way to your honeymoon, you'll read.
Right. I'll just catch up on all my reading.
All right, Michael, you got a lot.
NFT question. What is your favorite NFT you own that is not in the Pudgy ecosystem?
Favorite NFT that I own that is not in the Pudgy Penguins ecosystem. I'm not an avid NFT trader. An NFT that I would probably say that I would like to buy. I would love to own a doodle. I've always been contemplating buying doodles. I'm an avid supporter of what Azuki is doing. I think Azuki just capitalizing on the anime space is definitely up there. Let's see. Obviously, I'd love to own a Bored Ape one time. I missed that train early on. So, there's a few, some of the ones that we know of. I love all the stuff that Butcher is doing too. Punk, of course. So yeah, that's kind of my my NFT exposure.
All right. Well, I know you're a workaholic, so I don't know if you have any hobbies, but do you have any hobbies? If so, what is one of your hobbies?
I love tennis.
I don't know.
Yeah, tennis and food. I'm a huge foodie, so like I'll either cook something or I'll just just hit like a new restaurant and just like go super, sane on like being critique. So yeah, just eat. I guess eating is a hobby. Eating and tennis and now it's just like recalibrating my life to be a little bit more fitness oriented. So I've been doing a lot of working out very consistently and just making that the number one priority now over work. Which at this age is kind of like we're really when you want to at least start taking it somewhat serious. Can't just neglect your body.
That's facts. Health is wealth, folks.
Yeah, 27. Yeah, for sure. No, I'm just joking.
I mean, if you do stuff when you're younger, it's so much more helpful.
I know. No, you're right. I mean, I took that tack about a year ago. I'll say, Peter, I lost 65 pounds in the last year.
Congratulations.
So, yeah, thank you, man. I go into yoga every day and change, not drinking soda, eating healthy. So it is very, very important. It's good to hear. I was joking about you being young and doing it. Of course you should take care of yourself at a younger age. No.
What I started learning is like it's almost never too late to start exercising. I mean, some of the people out there who've been kind of champion longevity and health, some of them started really late. It's also a lot to do with genetics. So obviously,
it does. I was very lucky that I was able to take it off and all that stuff. Some people it's definitely different, but yeah, you're right. It's
60 pounds in a year, dude. That's serious stuff. It's serious.
Yeah, it was amazing. It was pretty awesome. Thank you.
Nice. It's easier to maintain than always feeling, kind of uncomfortable and
yeah. Well, it's kind of weird for me. Like I can lose weight, I can gain weight. Keeping it the same is like an everyday struggle. I need to like watch what I eat, make sure I exercise every single day, and like to keep it like within like a 5 pound thing. Like it's a struggle. It's a thing for sure. I know not everybody struggles with it, but I certainly do up and down low. I'm trying to really work hard at it. It's hard work, I'll say.
Keep it up, man. 60 pounds is not easy.
Thanks. Yeah, no, it wasn't for sure. And I'm definitely extremely happy about it. I feel better in every single way, mentally, physically.
A little Pudgy or a Pudgy Penguin if you feel that good.
Yeah, I think I might. If I feel
Pause
that
for
good.
Celebration.
I mean, if you want a doodle, I could trade you my doodle for an OG Pudgy. I don't know how many you have.
An OG. I mean, for a low Pudgy, that's like more of a price range comparison.
Yeah.
Right?
Two little Pudgies. No, it is. I'm only joking.
Yeah.
That was only a joke. My final question is, we were just talking about food, so that is appropriate, but what is the craziest thing that you've ever eaten?
Craziest thing that I've ever eaten.
Yeah, maybe the most adventurous thing, craziest thing.
Oh man, I don't know. I don't think I'm like. What quantifies as crazy?
I don't know.
Like
I mean,
people, what's the craziest
weird
thing someone
animals.
said? Yeah,
What-
like people said like some weird stuff, like alligator.
I don't know.
and-
For me, I ate the koi, the guinea pig in the Sacred Valley in Peru, and they like roast these little guinea pigs. They're actually pretty good. I gotta be honest. And they make a soup out of it. Really nice. But like that's kind of a weird one. The worst thing I ever ate in Iceland, they do this fermented shark meat. I don't even know how to describe it. And it smells almost like gasoline.
Interesting.
And when you taste it, it kind of tastes like gasoline. Look it up. It's good.
No.
It's a famous Icelandic, like when they're living, when it's dark for 6 months out of the year. And like they're living, they got to get some food.
So they're just
preserved.
going crazy. They're just
they got to get some food preserved. Yeah.
fermented shark.
Yeah.
Okay, so have you eaten anything crazy like that?
No, hell no.
That's probably a good thing.
Yeah,
I've eaten some really weird stuff.
I'm Russian, so we also grew up eating like things that our American culture is not accustomed to. So
Like what's something Russian that we wouldn't know?
Something Russian. I mean, it's like weird pairings. Like I love one thing, like a weird pairing is like this is kind of like a breakfasty meal. Is taking caviar, like red caviar or black caviar, putting it on a really nice piece of toast with like butter on it, and just like eating that with some black tea with some milk and sugar, and just like that combination of sweetness mixed with the saltiness. Oh my God. That sounds weird to anybody else, right? Russians also eat bread with watermelon, that's black bread with watermelon.
Like the watermelon on top of it?
No, just like take a take a watermelon, bite it, and then take this big black bread and eat it. We also, you have like meat jellos and stuff that are really good. So yeah, I mean, there's pretty like that to me is normal. I don't know what crazy was to you. That's why I asked, like, what's crazy to you? Because like,
well, those meat jellos, that stuff. What do they call those? Like head cheese and all that? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah. It's meat jello is kind of weird. It's basically like refrigerated broth with like meat on the bottom.
Right.
Not really and it's like got this gelatinous texture.
I've seen some of that stuff in my travels at the delis. I've seen some of that.
But some
Czech Republic has a lot of that.
Yeah,
they do a lot of that.
On top, with some mayo, you're good. See, anybody else? What? Jesus. Yeah.
Well, I guess you should say it was the most unique thing, because it was like, to him that's not weird. That's just like normal, but it's like he knows that it's different.
Yeah, no, those are cool. Thank you for taking so much time tonight. We took some extra time, and we really appreciate it. This was a lot of fun on a Friday night.
Yeah.
Really good stuff, Peter. Really good stuff. Nice to meet you, man.
Thank you. Likewise, and appreciate you guys having me on. Hopefully I see you guys in Art Basel in Miami, our event. Definitely going to be some good vibes, good food, and really happy to be here.
Cool.
Sweet. Well, with that said, thank you all so much for tuning into this episode of the NFT Catcher podcast, and we will catch you in the next one. Peace.
Thank you for tuning in to the NFT Catcher podcast. We hope you enjoyed today's episode and learned something new about the exciting world of NFTs. If you enjoyed today's episode, please take a moment to subscribe to our podcast on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you listen to your podcasts. And if you really love what you're hearing, please leave us a rating and review on your favorite platform. If you want to stay up to date with the latest news and insights from the NFT space, be sure to follow us on all the socials at NFT Catcher Pod. You can follow Jennifer at Jennifer_pseudo and Michael at NFTicket. I'm your producer, Andy, and I'm at AJC254. Our theme song's by It's Just Los. We always appreciate your feedback and support, which helps us reach more people and bring you informative and engaging content about NFTs. We look forward to bringing you more great NFT content in future episodes. Thanks for listening. Peace.